All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide, toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And our main website is xzoneradiotv.com. And we're coming to you around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our fine family of broadcast affiliates right around this beautiful planet of ours. My guest this hour is Dr. Jenn Royster, who is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, energy healer, visionary, speaker, and writer. She holds several degrees, including Doctor of Divinity, ordained spiritual minister. She has an MS in metaphysics and Reiki master. Dr. Jenn is well known for her innovative style in intuitive reads, energy healing, spiritual crisis support, and guidance, as well as Akashic record reads, soul retrieval, and support for empaths. Her work with empaths has gained her respect with many medical doctors and psychologists who refer to her for spiritual counseling when clinical routes show no results. A positive move in showing the importance and power that energy healing brings to healthcare, and her website is www.jennroyster.com. That's JENNROYSTER.com. And Dr. Jenn, welcome to the X Zone.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's great to be here with you and your listeners this evening.
Tell me, Dr. Jenn, how did you get started on your spiritual path?
Oh, my goodness. It's really been a part of my life. As early as I can remember, early in my childhood, I've always been connected. There's always been something beyond what they were trying to teach me in the religion. And I grew up in the United States in the Southeast, where it was a very dogmatic religion. And everything that we're talking about tonight is, taboo. I had to hide a lot of it as a child, and it was there. It was undeniable. And as I grew, I began seeking and exploring validation for what I was doing, what I was connecting to. And that's really what my education is all about, is validating what I was connecting to and, proving what I already had going on. And I know people that are listening would relate to that.
So when did you first notice your intuitive gifts?
As early as I can remember, I would say anywhere between the ages of 4 and 5 is as far back as I can remember. Mm-hmm. I can even remember further back, but it's in fragmented segments. But I have a lot of memory at the age of 4 and 5, seeing loved ones that had passed, angels. Mm-hmm. I've had angels in my life the whole time, and I've got so many stories about that. It blows my mind when I look back at it. But they're there. Yeah, absolutely. As far as a young child, it's always been there.
So tell me, as a young child, how did you deal with this gift at that time? Because I'm sure as a young child, it must have been perplexing at times.
Well, with my situation, it was a bit challenging because my family did not accept it. My parents were afraid of it. I found out later as an adult that a lot of my family members were connected as well, but were afraid and terrified to say anything. So I didn't know this as a child. But I was the eccentric one, as they would describe me, the emotional one, the one that was just being dramatizing and storytelling, and I wasn't. I was trying to get someone to listen to me. I was very sensitive to energy. I'm very much about the energy healing. I could feel the shifts of the energy. my parents didn't understand. They didn't know what to do with it. That's why I think that I have such a passion for helping children that are intuitive or growing up with these gifts now. And I actually help parents with that in my practice now because I had to figure it out as I went. So a lot of it was hidden as a child, and I withdrew. And I just shielded myself until I found a way to express who I really am. And that's what I feel like I'm finally doing now. But as a child, I had to hide it a lot.
All right, Dr. Jenn, please stand by. You and I have to take our commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation, Dr. Jenn Royster is our special guest this hour. www.JennRoyster.com. That's JennRoyster.com. And Dr. Jenn and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Jenn Royster is our special guest this hour. www.JennRoyster.com. Dr. Jenn, you work with intuitive children and their parents. Can you tell us a little bit about this? And how hard is it for parents to accept the fact that their child is intuitive?
Oh, that's a great question, Rob, because believe it or not, the parents that have what they consider no connection at all. They're very analytical. They don't understand any of this. And now they have this child that has come into their lives that is seemingly having all of this knowledge and connection. They're calling me and they're saying, this is really taking me out of my box. And I have to give kudos to the parents that don't understand, and they're calling because they love their children and they know that they don't understand what to do. So they're calling outside the box of what they understand, what maybe their belief system or religion may have taught them. And they go on forward and they say, can you help me with my child? And I go to, in my area right here locally, I go into the home with the children. And most of them, believe it or not, are around the age of 4, 5, and 6. A lot of them are male, and they have advanced knowledge that's beyond wow factor is all I can say. They explain to me, I sit right down there with the children. I let them know that I'm an adult that does understand their world and what they're experiencing, and what I have experienced that's the absolute most beautiful thing that I've ever seen is that as I'm teaching the children how to not be afraid, how to be safe, and how to protect themselves so they know what they're connecting to, what's happening, what's going on, and how to make this their gift and strength, it's opening up their parents to reconnect to their own intuition and their connection. The children become teachers to the parents. It is so inspirational to me. I absolutely love it. And now the parents, I'm actually helping the parents more. So it's really a beautiful experience.
Why are there more and more children today, Doctor, understanding or coming forth with this gift that so many have suppressed over the past?
I believe it's a lot to do with where we're evolving as a collective consciousness in humanity. We are at a place where we can wrap our brain around it. We can accept it and allow it in, and we're opening up to that. Children are also coming in at a higher frequency. I know it may be very familiar to some of your listeners that there's indigos, there's rainbow children, there's crystal children. These are just names that we have assigned to humanity that comes in the next generation at a higher frequency level. They're coming in more advanced, already ready for that next level of consciousness. We're very much in a pioneer generation. A few of our several decades of generation have been, paving the way for these beautiful children to come in, and they're coming in ready to go. So it's the older generations that are feeling like, whoa, I got to catch up.
So where are these gifted children, these indigo children, these rainbow children, getting their advanced knowledge from? I understand you said it's a higher frequency, but the frequency doesn't.
I understand what you're asking.
It doesn't validate the increase in knowledge.
Correct. It is a consciousness. It's a collective consciousness, and it's also connecting to those higher deities, ascended masters. Their souls are older. I mean, they've been here before. They're connecting into that higher self. That is that true essence of who all of us really are. They are connecting with the angelic realm. They are connecting with all of these higher realms, all these higher deities and these masters that have this knowledge. I think that we're going to see a lot more channeling and new information coming in. I feel that. I just know that. And that is my intuition, just claiming that right now on the air in your show. I know that we are going to see this information coming in. We're going to discover new things because we're ready for it. Yeah. We're ready for something to take us to the next level as a humanity group.
So are we looking at the indigo children and the rainbow children and the other names that we as a society have tagged these children with? Are we just looking at reincarnated souls that have a better understanding and a higher knowledge of what we are, who we are, and where we're going to?
Some of them, yes. I mean, I can't say all of them are, but absolutely. I mean, some of them are going to be, and this has been through all times, all generations. Some of them are going to be earth angels coming in to really help us pave the way and go there. People that are light workers, people like yourself, Rob, that are doing shows like you're doing, you are helping mankind, accept and move into a place where we can evolve together and go there together. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah. But it's all of the above. It is a little bit of all of it because there are old souls coming back. There are masters coming back, but there are also protective and guardian angels coming in. The world is flooded with angels right now to really help us. And it seems like the world's falling apart all over the place. But that is just the dismantling of everything that's got to go away. And it's just self-destructing on itself. And it has to happen. That sounds really dramatic. But it is what it is.
Yeah. You see, when you're talking about angels, Doctor, I believe in angels. I believe in them too. Above and beyond anything else. I've been doing this show for a number of years, and I know you do a radio talk show yourself. And you, like I am sure, we have been inundated with information over the years, and we're very fortunate because we are able to talk to people that allow us to amass a great amount of knowledge, and we're able to connect the dots based on the people we talk to. Now, when it comes to UFOs, when it comes to Sasquatch, when it comes to, some of the other topics that we discuss here on the show.
I think that's called the X Zone, Rob.
Yeah. I have doubts, and I'm not afraid to say to a guest, I don't believe you. Prove it to me. But when it comes to angels, when I was young, very young, I was about 6 years old, 7 years old, my younger brother, way back then, baby food was put into cans. And you'd take the can and you'd take it home and you'd open it. And back then, they weren't putting any protective coatings inside the can. My younger brother, who, thank the good Lord, is still with us today, nearly died of ptomaine poisoning in the hospital. Everybody gathered at my grandmother's house because grandmother was the rock of the family. Everybody gathered there. My parents dropped me off at my grandmother's as they were taking my brother to the hospital. And in the kitchen where everyone was sitting, I saw a man. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I didn't know him. But he was telling me that everything was going to be all right. The phone rang. It was my mother from the hospital saying that my brother had turned the corner and everything was going to be okay. My grandmother was looking at me while she was on the phone, and she said, "Why are you looking at the wall?" I said, "I'm talking to that man over there." And I went back to where I saw the man, and he wasn't there anymore. I know in my heart of hearts that what I saw was an angel.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
He was there. Your grandmother had a connection. You knew? Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. Well, as you expressed that, your grandmother, she had that strength because she knew she had backup. She knew she had the support from, the higher dimensions.
Yeah. So, I feel like I'm blessed that at a very early age, I was given validation.
Yeah, I was too, and it's a beautiful thing.
And I don't know if your life has been like mine, Doctor.
Oh,
Since I started this love that I do for the past 23 years, every time I've had it up to here and I've tried to walk away, fate or something, angels, spirits, I don't know what they are. It's like I get tripped, and the message I get is, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
It is keeping us on path, that's for sure. Because like you, I was 5 years old when I had my first angel encounter. I mean, what I can remember as a very distinctive angel encounter. And it was incredible because it was my own injury that I had fallen and bumped my head on the temple side of my head.
Oh, no.
And it caused me to go blind. I completely lost all of my sight. So they had me in the emergency room, everybody's freaking out. I just feel all these people poking at me and I'm like, what's going on? I can't see anything. And they were going to do surgery. And so my mother is staying in the hospital room with me all night.
Right.
And I remember crying. And in the middle of the night, this nurse, which I thought was a nurse, let's put it that way, she's all dressed in white.
Right.
And she came in and she said, "It's okay. It's going to be fine." And I said, but everybody's so scared and I'm scared, but I could see her. Here I am blind, but I can see her. And she said, "It's going to be fine. I'm going to give you this flashlight. And whenever you're scared, just turn the flashlight on." And she put it on the little nightstand beside the bed. And I said, "Okay." And the next morning, my mother wakes up, and I sit up, and I could see then. And she said, "What's going on?" I said, "Everything's great. The nurse gave me a flashlight in the middle of the night." And they said, "Nobody was in here." And long story short, nobody believed me. My dad goes running up to the nurse's station with a description of the nurse. And she doesn't work there. She doesn't exist. And I said, "She was here." They said, "You were dreaming." I said, "There's the flashlight on the stand," and there it was.
Wow. Dr. Jenn, stand by. Great talking to you. Exonation, Dr. Jenn Royster is our special guest. What a lady. www.jennroyster.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Also, Exonation, don't forget, if you think that your child has enterovirus D68, or if somebody has been in contact with somebody, if you have doubts, take your child to your local walk-in clinic, your local doctor, or emergency center. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Jenn Royster is my special guest this hour, and she's also a talk show host. She is the syndicated radio show host. She's syndicated over 430 stations worldwide. She is on 12:30 a.m. WBLQ and also on 15:10 a.m. in Boston. And Jen, if they go to your website, can they get all the information about your show?
Oh, yes. All the links, all the details, all the show listings are right at the website. Yes.
There you go. Her website, by the way, once again, is www.jennroyster.com. Jen, spiritual healing has amazed me. I've seen it work firsthand. How did you get into it?
I think I might cry on you right now, Rob. Okay,
go right ahead.
Because
you're loved
energy
here.
Healing is a big deal, and I really believe it's going to be what medicine is evolving around. You know, the priority is going to be the energy of it one day. Okay, bear with us, guys. Hang in there. But I have seen energy healing work in miraculous ways, and it is my healthcare plan for my own personal health. And when I took it on and just really immersed into it, it really defies all the things that we thought we were supposed to do. It's really shifting. It's really changing. We are so much more than just the physical body. We are that soul, that spark, that peace that's part of that divine universe that is just experiencing this life in this physical body, and the physical body is just anchoring us here. And it's more, I hate to call it a robot, but it's like that because our thoughts, our beliefs control how our body responds. So if we believe we're going to get sick, we're probably going to get sick.
It works out to the old saying, if you confess it, you will possess it.
Yeah. Or, don't speak it into existence.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard that one?
I sure have.
Yeah. Yeah, that one too. I have seen miraculous healings, and it's phenomenal, and I see it more and more. I do it with my own health, like I said, and, it took me into a shaman memory, actually, from past lives that I've had. And I'm realizing that, oh my, I knew this before I came here.
My goodness.
And
So
it surprised me. It did. It took me a while to grasp that, but it's coming to that point, yeah.
So it seems what we're doing, Dr. Jen, is going into our past and reliving or bringing forth what people call lost knowledge, because they really don't have any idea what it's all about. And we're bringing it into the present so that we can go forward into the future.
Yes, or, another way to say it would be you're reconnecting to what you already had. Really, you are. Yeah. You're reconnecting, you are putting that thought into a different place, and and you're just allowing it back into your life instead of disassociating from it. A lot of it is so simple. It's so simple. We make it so hard, but it's not.
Oh, my heavens. I coined a phrase years ago, and I have several T-shirts that I used to give away that said, "Life is simple. We complicate it." Yeah.
No, it's true. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good T-shirt, because it's true. We make it harder than it really is. And a lot of times it's the opposite of what we think we need to be doing. And we're not even trying to do it. It's more of a being. Let it be you, and immersing and letting it flow out. It just is not about trying to force anything. So a lot of it is allowing our higher self to take over and run this ship versus the ego, the fret, the worry, the doubt, the skepticism, the whole thing. And what I call is, don't throw the ego out. It's part of you. Teach the ego and let the ego be safe like a child, and help it, like parent it, like let it become a support and a connection with your higher self to work with it together. So it's a little bit intricate what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's not.
No, it's not, because I believe that our body knows how to heal itself. The answer to any question is inside of us. But for some reason, throughout the evolution, and I call it devolution, we have cast aside what we really should have kept and opened ourselves to this false world of reality that we surround ourselves with.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? You know what really did that, Rob, was the instant gratification. Oh. You know, that caused the laziness, really. It's a laziness because instant gratification in everything, whether it was a credit card to give you instant access to something or taking a pill to make something go away in your body, it just prolonged what you really have to go there and deal with.
Yeah, my mother
energetically.
My mom
if you
taught
go
us,
to the root cause, if you go to the root cause energetically, you've got it.
You know, it's no matter what you do in life. If you face your demons, face your monsters, instead of, like you said, looking for the quick fix. Number one, you do the job. Number two, you get the self-satisfaction of seeing something through, actually standing up to your demons, standing up to your monsters and saying, hey, listen, whatever it is, I'm aware of it. I can fix it. I don't need somebody else to fix it. I don't need the credit cards to instantaneously have the money that I don't need to work for. And you know what? This company was silly enough. I'm not going to have to really worry about them. Oh, they're a big bank. They're a big corporation. They can afford if I screw up. And today with kids, with the instant communication and the lack of conversation, I think in our future we're going to have a bit of a problem there.
Mm-hmm. Well, children are starting to challenge it because, you know, and I see the younger generations. I've seen it. I'm seeing the intelligence coming forward. Like, wait a minute, you know, and we've got to look at it as an older generation. Like, what are we leaving for them?
Yeah.
Let's be responsible. Let's do this together.
But are we giving the youth of today way too much credit? And I'm not saying that in a negative way, because I believe that we, the adult population of this planet, have ripped our children off of their childhood. We've ripped them off of true parenting. You know, kids today, God bless them, they go to school, they come home, they're put in front of the electronic babysitter. Mom and dad, because of the economic structure of the world, need to work longer hours. Mom and dad have to work. It's as if the children are left to fend for themselves most of the time. Not all the time,
and
most
I
of the
can
time.
relate to that personally because that's pretty much what I had to do as a child. And what I say to that is it's about listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even find that time to listen and to play. Play with your child. Do something fun,
Definitely.
something. Because that's a very high, when I'm going to go back to that word frequency, and I say frequency because with energy, the high frequency of joy and happiness is healing. And so, you know, yes, we're busy. We're trying to make ends meet. We're trying to pay our bills. We have jobs. But in the end, are we actually listening to each other in the family dynamic? It's important.
I remember when I was young, you had supper. It was the big event of the day because Mom, Dad, and my brother, we were all sitting at the table together, talking. There was a big thing, and there was no TV on, there was no radio on. That was our time each and every day. Mom and Dad worked. You know, they did their very best, and I'm very proud, and I love my parents, and I love my brother because they taught me how to be the person I am today, and their values and their virtues I instilled in our children, and they're instilling it in their grandchildren. But I see so many families today, even when you go to a restaurant, Dr. Jen, they don't talk. They don't communicate. There's no social gathering. There's no communication. There's no touching. Everybody's got their little handheld device, and they're in their own worlds. So how do we get the family unit back together? Because I'm sure that's what Spirit wants.
It is, and you know when you say that, it's interesting and almost ironic because when you look at all the technology out there, it is almost trying to mimic what humanity wants. All the social media, all the family plan, connecting, sharing on the cell phone thing. The whole bit is trying to keep the connection going. It's mimicking what we're trying to do. And I see that as take time out. Just don't be so addicted to where you got to look at that every 5 minutes on that cell phone or that smartphone. Yeah. Put it down and be with the person in front of you. Be with that person. Turn those things off at dinner time. Yeah. Turn it off when it's family time. It'll be there when you get back to it. It's not going to go away.
We were at a restaurant the other day, and my wife and I, our children are no longer here at home. They all 6 of them have their own families, and we get together very often. But we were at this restaurant, and there was this little 5-year-old or 6-year-old little girl, and she was at the restaurant with Mommy and Daddy. Mommy and Daddy both have their handheld devices. They're in their own world, and this little girl is tugging on her daddy, saying, Daddy, Daddy, I got to talk to you, Daddy.
Aww.
And it's like, oh, mister, do you know what you're missing?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, exactly. Those are the precious moments of life that you don't want to miss. And for people listening out there, don't beat yourself up if you've been guilty of that or whatever you want to call that.
Change it.
Just say, change it and do something about it now. Just say, you know what, from this point forward, I'm not going to do that. We have grown children and we have grandchildren now. We have fur kids in the house.
Yeah.
we have the fur kids, but you know what? They keep us in balance because we walk together. It's time for us to do this together. Yeah. And they remind you, it's like, this is time for the family.
Yep.
It's important, and it's really part of life. And I don't feel like anything's more important than the connections that we can have with one another while we're here.
You know, I know in my heart of hearts, Dr. Jenn, that you and I are rather fortunate because we see the big picture. We want to do our very best to bring this picture to everyone. We want to do our very best each and every day to make a positive difference. The entire reason for this show is to make a positive difference in one heart a night. That's it. That's it. It's very simple. How can we, as a collective group, do this? Especially when you talk to people and they say, oh, come on, this is all mumbo-jumbo. How do you, Dr. Jenn, deal with skepticism?
You know what? I have lived with that my whole life, with the way I grew up, in that environment. And I also learned that when I tried to people please that, it didn't do it didn't make me happier. It didn't help. It didn't do anything. It just kept me locked in the box. When I finally figured out, well, what the heck? This is how I got out of it. Whatever. They're not going to like what I do anyway, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And I just decided to jump out and be me.
To thine own self be true.
And believe it or not, they actually shifted to respect because they admired it. And they would come to me and say, I wish that I admire that you did that. Oh, boy, I wish I could do that. And now you're helping them learn that, well, if I can do it, you can do it. And that is really what it is, a respect for ourselves enough to do what we know is right for us. You are actually helping another human being, humanity in whole, feel like they can be free to do something. Because, it's just a big cycle that keeps shifting. So I'm about putting the love out there. If you have love within you, if you be love, then love will embrace you. And that is the most healing energy out there.
We've got about a minute and a half before we have to take our final break, Dr. Jenn. Why do you believe, based on your many years of experience and I can't even imagine how many people's lives you've touched over the years. But why do you think more and more people are coming to this new spirituality movement that we're part of?
Because honestly, in a nutshell, it's because of the whole human consciousness is moving to the next level together. What we used to do is not working anymore. Everybody can relate to that, whether it's financial, the job, in relationships, whatever. What we used to believe, what we used to do, the rituals, the routines, the culture, it just doesn't work anymore.
No.
And we're seeing that across the globe. And it is going to come apart, and we have to allow ourselves to come out of that comfort zone and discover a new way. So we are all part of the birth of a new world right now.
And I also believe that we are all part of the solution. Because you know what? Nobody
yes.
wants to be part of the problem. Dr. Jenn, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exonation Dr. Jenn Royster is our very special guest this hour. She has her own radio show, and for more information on how you can listen in to Dr. Royster, visit her website at www.jennroyster.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is The Exxon, and we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue broadcasting from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Exonation, Dr. Jenn Royster is our very special guest of this hour. Her website is www.jennroyster.com. She also has a YouTube channel. She's available on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and SoundCloud. Once again, her website is www.jennroyster.com. First of all, Jenn, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. I admire the great work you're doing, getting the message out there, and I look forward to the next time we meet here in the Exxon.
I'm very humbled by that, and I want to say thank you to you as well, and to the listeners. I'm thrilled to be here with you and your listeners. It's a real honor.
What is your final message for our listeners tonight, Dr. Jenn? What's the heartfelt message that Dr. Jenn would like to say?
Every time I'm asked that, I go with what I am feeling with spirit in that moment, and I ask, what is it that you want me to express to the universe right now? And it is, listen to your heart. What is your heart magnetically pulling you toward? Don't be afraid of it. Take baby steps if you have to. Investigate it, research it, do your homework, and if it's a change job, work on the relationship, whatever it is. Happiness is what you deserve, and happiness is key to health. It's happiness that is what is our divine right to have while we are here. We were not born in this physical world to be just enduring it. You can actually enjoy it.
You brought up something there very interesting. Why were we born in this physical world?
It's a part of the, my explanation of that is there's that spark of our soul that we come here and we're curious. So, that's going to sound a little strange for a minute, but we're curious, and we go and we have all these contracts, and we decide, well, let's go try this challenge on. Think about sports. Take the analogy of sports, these crazy challenges that, well, can I do that run? Can I lift that much weight? Can you come to earth and actually overcome that challenge? I think sometimes that we do challenge ourselves to strengthen ourselves, because in challenges we do learn things. I mean, life here is hard. It is hard. I'm not going to deny that. It goes up and down. It can be beautiful, but it can challenge you. And can you keep the straight and narrow in the challenge and respond versus react, and keep your faith in what you know to be your connection to your higher self? I feel that is the soul growth desire when it comes here. It's all about soul growth. It's not about anything else. All the things we experience here are just part of the bells and whistles, but we are actually here for that soul growth and that evolution to the higher level. So we grow, we learn, then we may come back in another lifetime and another one, but everybody we interact and connect with is there to help us in some way, even if it's the adversity.
Dr. Jenn, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. So happy that you're doing the work you're doing, because I've got a deep feeling that you touch so many lives and are making such a great difference in this world. It's been our pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Take
Same here.
Take care of yourself, Doctor.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye now. Exo Nation, my guest this hour has been Dr. Jenn Royster. Her website is www.jennroyster.com. That's JENNROYSTER.com. I'll be back on the other side of this news break at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. We'll be back after the news.